We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Welcome back to English Classes Online. Today we are diving into a topic that one of our esteemed viewers, Philemon Long, has asked about. Philemon, thank you for your thoughtful comment. You asked why a particular expression from a 2018 question is an adjective clause rather than an adjective phrase. And you also wanted to know whether the word which, W-H-I-C-H, could be used as a subject in a sentence. Let's dive right in. Let's to know adjective clauses versus phrases. Now let's start with the comments by Philemon Long. So from the comments section, today we have Philemon Long, and he wrote as follows. Sir, please, with the 2018 question, kindly explain why it ain't an adjective or phrase, but a clause. Because I really don't think which is a subject. I would appreciate if you respond. Yes, of course, Philemon, if you are watching this video, this is my response. And to all you viewers out there, as you can see, Philemon's comment requests explanation of some key grammatical concepts which we are going to address in this video. Number one, why is a given expression an adjective clause and not an adjective phrase? Two, is which a subject? Well, let's start by again looking at this question. Question one, why is a given expression an adjective clause and not an adjective phrase? Two, is which a subject? Let's start by taking a second look at Philemon's comment. Sir, please, with the 2018 question, kindly explain why it ain't an adjective phrase, but a clause. Because I really don't think which is a subject. I would appreciate if you respond. Now, Philemon's comment is based on the following. WASSCE, that is West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2018, specifically theory question number 6. And the full sentence in the passage, of course, it is a comprehension passage, and questions were asked based on the passage. From the passage, this sentence, you will find this sentence in the passage. Everybody was impressed with the feats which went along with the hilarious drumming. Now, the expression underlined in that passage, in that specific sentence, is which went along with the hilarious drumming. And two questions were asked based on this expression. Now, take a look at the expression again. Question G, which went along with the hilarious drumming. Question I, what is the grammatical name given to this expression as it is used in the passage? II, what is its function? And of course, I gave the solution as follows. GI, adjective clause. In other words, what is the grammatical name given to this expression as it is used in the passage? The answer is adjectival clause. That's the grammatical name. I, what is its function, modifies the noun fits. Now, I gave these answers, as the solution to the question. And I did a video, of course, which you can watch if you have not. Philemon's comment is based on that video that I did. And that video is titled, let me take you back to the, let me take you back more on how best to find grammatical names and functions. That video is titled How Best to Find Grammatical Names and Functions. So I did a video like that, and I examined the 2018 WASSCE questions together with other questions of other years. So, and Philemon uh, asked some questions based on the answers I gave to 2018 questions. And that's exactly what we are handling. Now, as I earlier mentioned, the solutions, the answers I gave to these questions. Question: what is the grammatical name given to this expression as it is used in the passage? And my answer is adjectival clause. Now, Philemon is asking a question. Why is it, kindly explain why it is not an adjectival phrase, but a clause. So he disagrees with my answer that this is an adjectival clause. He has the notion that this should be a phrase, and then he is asking, he is stating categorically that he doesn't really think that the word which, you know, can be a subject. If you understand what a clause is a group of words that contains the subject verb combination. It has to have a subject and a verb, and then it should uh, either form a sentence or part of a sentence. Okay, that's exactly what a clause is. And so Philemon doesn't think that this should be an adjective or clause. He thinks it should be a phrase. All right. And of course, that is why we are making this video to give clarification. Now, to answer the two questions raised from Philemon's comments, we are going to examine the differences between adjectival phrases and adjectival clauses. So I think we should start from there. And so differences between adjectival phrases and adjectival clauses. Let's begin with the definition. An adjectival phrase, what is it? An adjectival phrase is a group of words that acts as an adjective to describe a noun or a pronoun. Okay, so what of an adjectival clause? An adjectival clause is a subordinate clause that describes a noun or a pronoun, usually introduced by a relative pronoun or a relative adverb. Now, one thing we need to understand at the level of definition is that an adjectival phrase is a group of words, and an adjectival clause is also a group of words. What makes a phrase, and what makes a clause a clause? Now, a clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb and makes complete meaning, or can be subordinated to another clause to form or to make its meaning, to convey its meaning. In other words, we can have a clause which is independent, and we can have a clause which is dependent, okay? Or if you like, subordinate. So an adjective clause is a dependent clause or a subordinate clause, okay? even though it's a subordinate clause, it has a subject and a verb. So let's now continue and look at the structure. When we are looking at the structure of the phrase and the clause, we are looking at the components, the parts that make up the group of words. Now, an adjective phrase typically contains an adjective which should serve as the head word and possibly other modifiers. Okay. On the other hand, an adjectival clause contains a subject and a predicate or a verb. A predicate is essentially a verb with other words that modify the verb. Now, the relative pronoun or adverb usually serves as the subject within the clause. Now, this actually specifically answers Philemon's second question or comment. He said he doesn't think that the word which is a subject, but here we are saying that which is a relative pronoun, can serve as a subject within an adjectival clause. Now, I'm going to explain this further, but at this point, I want you to know categorically that which can serve as a subject in an adjectival clause. Now let's look at other differences. We are now going to look at differences between, the difference between adjectival phrase and adjectival clause in terms of introduction. That is, words that introduce each grammatical structure. Now, beginning with adjectival phrase. An adjectival phrase can start or be introduced with a preposition. For example, the girl with blonde hair is John's sister. Now, what's the adjectival phrase here? The adjectival phrase here is with blonde hair. And as a grammatical structure, with blonde hair is a prepositional phrase. But here it is functioning as an adjective in the sense that it is telling us more about the noun girl. If you say the question is which girl? The girl with blonde hair is the one being talked about. So with blonde hair is an adjective phrase, and it begins with the preposition with. Okay. Now take note of the fact that a phrase is essentially a fragment. It doesn't have a subject verb combination. Okay. Now with is a subject. Blonde hair is a noun phrase. So when we combine with and blonde hair, what we have is a prepositional phrase functioning grammatically as an adjective phrase. All right, now let's look at the structure of the adjective clause. Now, an adjective clause is often introduced by relative pronouns such as who, whom, whose, and which, or relative adverbs such as where, when, or why. For example, the girl who has blonde hair is John's sister. So you can see we have reconstructed the first sentence. The girl with blonde hair is John's sister. Now, to turn that into a clause, we say the girl who has blonde hair. And here, what we have done is that we have introduced the subject-verb combination in this second sentence. The girl who has blonde hair is John's sister. Now, take note that a clause has a subject-verb combination. Now, let's analyze the clause here. Who has blonde hair? Who is the subject here? And who is the relative pronoun? Okay? Has is the verb. Blonde is blonde hair is the object. So this clause has SVO structure. The subjects, S for subject, V for verb, and O for object. And what is the subject here? Who? What is the verb here? Has. What is the object here? Blonde hair. So you can see the difference between an adjectival clause and an adjectival phrase. So let's now look critically at the particular question that Philemon commented about. So we are looking at WASSCE June 2018 question on grammatical name and function. Philemon's comment was based on the video in which of course I treated this question. So let's review it to verify the correctness or otherwise of the solution that I provided in that video. I hope you are really getting some value from this clarification. If you are, kindly uh, like and share the video and add your comments. And of course, if you have not subscribed to this video, it will be quite kind of you to do so at this point. Now, let's look at the question again. Question G, which went along with the hilarious drumming? Which went along with the hilarious drumming? Now, two questions were based on this expression. What is the grammatical name given to this expression as it is used in the passage? What is its function? To answer these questions correctly, we must examine the sentence from which the expression was taken. That's the first step to take. We go back to the passage and examine the entire sentence that contains this expression. And the sentence is as follows. Everybody was impressed with the feats which went along with the hilarious drumming. So you can see the expression which went along with the hilarious drumming underlined in that sentence. This is exactly how you will find it in the passage, in that comprehension passage. Now, moving further, we have to use the border principle and the question method. These are two grammatical concepts or devices, if you like, that will enable us to analyze the question and arrive at the correct answer. Now, using the border principle and the question method or questioning method, if you like, let's find out the grammatical name of the underlined expression. Number one, the first thing you need to do is to try to say the part of the sentence that comes before the underlined expression. Omit the underlined expression and then raise a natural question. A question will naturally arise when you do this. Let's do that. Let's go back to the sentence. Everybody was impressed with the feats. We put a full stop. Okay, everybody was impressed with the feats. Now, assuming somebody says this to your hearing, what question are you likely to ask the speaker? Everybody was impressed with the feats. You don't know what he's talking about. You don't know the feats he's talking about. So what question are you going to ask? Let me give you just a little while to think about it. Everybody was impressed with the feats. What question are you going to ask the speaker when you do not know what the speaker is really talking about? You are not privy to the feats that the speaker is talking about. So what are you going to ask the speaker to find out more information about what he or she is talking about? Well, without much ado, the question that should naturally arise is, which feats are you talking about? Everybody was impressed with the feats. Which feats? That's the question that naturally arises. And of course, in English grammar, there is one grammatical structure that provides answer to questions about which particular thing or which type of thing you are talking about. And that grammatical structure is an adjective or anything from the adjectival family. It could be an adjective, it could be an adjectival phrase, it could also be an adjectival clause. So now this is the first thing we have to find out, that this thing has to be an adjective or an adjectival element. Then we probe further, we go beyond this to find out exactly what particular kind of adjectival element is being talked about. Now, what should be the next thing we are going to look at? Everybody was impressed with the feet. Which feet? Okay? Now, note that the underlined expression provides the answer to the question you have raised, which fits. The answer then, the fits which went along with the hilarious drumming. The fits which went along with the hilarious drumming. Now, the next thing you need to do is to examine that particular structure, and find out exactly what it could be. Now, why is it an adjectival clause? That's the natural question. We have to ask at this point, because this is Philemon's question. This is exactly why he is confused. He doesn't believe it should be an adjectival clause. Why is it an adjectival clause? A number of reasons. Number one, it describes the noun fit. It tells us the particular fit being talked about. So for that reason, it's an adjectival element. But that has not fully answered the question why it is an adjectival clause. Okay, it could be an adjectival phrase, it could be an adjective, it could also be an adjectival clause. But why is it an adjectival clause? It begins with a relative pronoun which. You see, one of the features of an adjectival clause is that it begins with a relative pronoun. And we listed relative pronouns as who, whom, whose, and which. So this particular expression, which went along with the hilarious drumming, it begins with a relative pronoun. And this feature immediately tells us it should be an adjectival clause. Okay. Then another reason why it is an adjectival clause is that it contains a subject and a predicate. In this case, as I earlier mentioned, the word which of course is a relative pronoun, serves as the subject in the clause by representing the antecedent, the fits. Now, when you look at uh, a relative pronoun is a type of pronoun. And what does a pronoun do in a sentence? It replaces a noun. So if you remember uh, your definition of the pronoun. A pronoun is a word used in place of a noun in a sentence. But then there are different types of pronouns. You have the personal pronoun, you have the interrogative pronoun, you have the relative pronoun, and so on and so forth. In this case, we are dealing with a relative pronoun. What does a relative pronoun do? A relative pronoun refers to an antecedent. An antecedent is something that came before. Now, in this case, we have an antecedent. Look at the sentence again. Everybody was impressed with the feats. The feats refer to a noun, okay? And here, which went along with the hilarious drumming, gives us more explanation, more information about the feats. Now, what the relative pronoun which does is that it refers us back to the antecedent. The antecedent is fits, okay? And so, which is a relative pronoun referring to the antecedent fits, okay? So that's exactly what it does. And this of course, makes it quite clear to us that this is an adjectival clause. Now, let's look at another question. Why is it not an adjectival phrase? Now, it's not an adjectival phrase because an adjectival phrase does not contain a subject and a verb. It does not contain the subject-verb combination which we have in this given expression, which went along with the hilarious drumming, has a subject and a predicate, or a subject and a verb. Which is the subject, went along with the hilarious drumming is the predicate, with went as the verb. Okay. Now, a phrase does not have this, and that is why that expression is definitely not an adjectival phrase, but an adjectival clause. I hope this should be quite clear to you. So, and of course, Philemon, I hope I have been able to give you the explanation you requested. Do not hesitate to let me know if there is any area in which you still need further clarification. At this point, this is where we draw the curtains on today's video. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you